I've managed to sort of
forget your lines?
yeah.
Sort of forget everything we're talking about.
Hey, what's up, guys? I've got something really cool for you today. This kind of relates in an interesting way to networking and like the way small businesses grow and my personal philosophy of bullying people into becoming friends with me. I've done it with guys like Jeff, I've done it with guys like Rob over at Off the Grid, and now I'm going to bully Owen at Snake Hound Machine into becoming my friend. We took a ride up to New Hampshire this weekend to visit him at his shop, find out more about Snake Hound Machine, get a little bit of work done. It's, you know, at Filster and at Arm Dynamics, we're real big fans of the rugged, simple, and full of character AK platform. Even if it's not quite as tactical as some of your ARs, and even if, you know, the manipulations are a little more awkward sometimes, we happen to like it and we're happy with it. And it's really nice to find somebody else on this coast who's within a relatively reasonable driving distance who also likes it. And so I brought my Arsenal AK-74 up here to get a little bit of tweaking done on it, and we're also going to introduce you to the ever-growing and ever-popular Owen of Snake Hound Machine.
Well, thanks for coming up. You know, I love having people up here in New Hampshire. I mean, it is the free state, and we've had a few events up here with people come up from all over the country. Rob actually came up in April, and from San Diego. Yeah. So that's pretty much as far as you can get away from here right now.
In California?
So the farthest, southernest, most westest tip of California.
And philosophically opposite as well.
Philosophically.
Sorry, Californians, it's time to move.
Move, please. So anyway, love having people up here. It's always a blast to go shooting and stuff. We're gonna go shooting later today. As far as Snake Hound Machine's gone, I've been in New Hampshire since March of 2012. I quit my job in Arkansas in June of 2011 and started going to myself, doing gunsmithing and things like that.
What got you started in that? Did you like, were you doing it for yourself and like...
I was doing it for myself and everyone else who knew me. Like, I was the guy everybody brought their stuff to, and I wasn't trying to pursue it as a profession at all. It was just, I ended up accidentally becoming everybody's like go-to guy back home in Arkansas.
That sounds really familiar.
And yeah, I know, right? And I have, like, you know, I have an engineering background and do a lot of mechanical stuff as well, and so it's kind of a natural transition. And I've always been good with machines, and guns are just simple machines. They're not that complicated.
No, they're
not. And so, like, a lot was born out of stuff I wanted that didn't exist. I could not, either no one was making the things that I wanted to buy, or I couldn't get things to the level of quality that I wanted to see in the market.
In the time frame and the price that you wanted it to be.
Yeah, period. Yeah, exactly. So, and so that's what kind of like egged me on to start doing stuff on my own. And
this is all eerily familiar, by the way.
And actually, a guy bought me. He's like, I'm going to give you a website. I was writing stuff for other forums and other websites, writing articles for them about AKs. And this guy's like, you need your own AK website. And so I ended up with allak47.com. It was just a blog and talking about AKs and talking about products about AKs, and that was it.
Is that still up?
Which technically is still up. Has not been updated in like a year. Okay. It still exists though, and which I probably need to find someone to take that over for me, because I didn't even have time to write for it when I was doing it. Now I definitely don't. But that pushed me more into like a spotlight. People started to know who I was or whatever, and people asked me, well, when can I get one of your guns? Can I send you a gun to customize? And I'm like, no, because that's illegal, and I'm just a dude. Yeah, I didn't ask, like, whatever. So eventually I had enough of that. Like, people keep asking to give me money, so I was like, you know, maybe
Shut up and take my money.
Maybe I should do this as a business.
Yeah.
So in March of 2012, I moved from Arkansas to New Hampshire, started Snake Hound Machine, LLC, and expanded in from riding and working on local guns to actually having a real business instead of just myself like in a garage.
Right.
And then things have exploded since then. It's been an insane train. But I started customizing guns, and then I was getting guns, and the first 2 guns that I did were Wasser 10s, and I didn't rebarrel them. What it was is I ended up ordering about 10 guns from Century, and out of those I kept 2 of them. I got a 20-point inspection process, including checking head spacing and test firing them and did everything. And I kept 2 of them at quality standards, and I completely built those up, and then stripped them all down, rebuilt them from the ground up, other than rivets, and because I'm not a riveter, I'll admit that's an art form. It's very hard to do well. I can do it, I just can't do it pretty.
Always have to be pretty.
Yeah. So anyway, I started doing that, and then I met up with Martin at Iron Hammer Armory, who's now only doing he's only like a manufacturer and wholesaler, and I teamed with him. We developed new products. We're making our own receivers. They're made out in Colorado, heat treated.
Awesome.
Martin comes from a blacksmith background, and so he knows a lot about metallurgy, and he's an expert on it.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm like, how about you do this stuff that you're really, really good at, and then I can focus on the stuff that I'm really, really good at, and we can work together and make really amazing products.
Perfect.
So so that works out great, and division of labor, it helps everybody out. So that's when we started doing our own AKs from the ground up with American-made receivers, American barrels. The barrels that we both use now are high-quality Green Mountain blanks that we have a shop turning one at a time to our specs.
So you get
that. Mars and worked with this guy for a long time. It's not easy, and that's really what the biggest hang-up is that
So
we have all
if
these guns
you
ready
order-
to build, and then as soon as a barrel comes off the machine and we check it out and it's 100% to our specs, we make the gun and it's out within weeks.
Yeah.
But there's especially with after December and January, there's major shortages.
Yeah.
But not only are there major shortages, but we were finding that stuff that was on the existing market didn't meet up to our quality standards. I want to deliver 1 MOA AKs, and you can't do those with just any barrel.
Yeah.
You gotta have good stuff.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you can't find good stuff, you have to make it, and that's what takes forever.
So that's basically the Snake Hound philosophy.
Yeah.
If it doesn't exist, it gets made by us.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much how it's been working out. So there you can have top quality, you can have low price, and you can have it fast. And you pick 2. Really, we just do 1 very well, and that's it. We do quality really, really well. We're not the lowest price, and we're not the fastest, but by damn, we do it right, and it is made well.
Right.
That's the only thing I got.
Especially in today's day and age, where there's the huge amount of information that's available. There's no reason to skimp on quality or to cut any kind of corners, because the more information that's available, not only do you have more people competing in your market, but you also have more informed customers. Right?
So years down the road, the only thing that anyone will judge your name on that product by is the level of quality.
Right, and it's I might have the attention span of a goldfish, but if something's paid for, if I've paid for something and I'm not still making payments on it in 6 months, the price.
Price doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The amount of time it took to get it doesn't really matter unless
Right.
you had a customer service issue.
Right, and you reach a point where sort of, if you graph the relevancy of a price in relationship to time.
Yeah, the more time goes on, it drops.
Bottom,
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah, eventually, especially if it changes hands, then price is not attached to you at all. It's your name's attached to that product forever. That product is you.
Yeah.
And quality becomes the only thing that matters.
Right,
and that's why it's the #1 thing that's important to me as a business.
Somebody out there has paid their money and waited X amount of time, and they open the box and they can find something to criticize, you know, not only is that, you know, unacceptable, you know, in terms of like customer service, but it's demoralizing.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a friend who, like, whenever you show them something new, they go, oh, well, you should have got this and this, and I don't know how this is going to work, and, you know, they nitpick something that you've, like, researched and purchased?
Right.
Like, my personal goal is to provide something that's good enough that that friend isn't going to bust your stones over it. That they usually.
Oh, that's a nice whatever. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's, you know, even if they're negative about everything, the best thing they could, the worst they can do is, yeah, I guess that's all right. You know, because some people equate like perpetual negativity with expertise.
Yes.
All right. At any rate, I've been ogling this thing since we got in for a couple of reasons. Tell us about
the burnt bronze beauty.
Yeah.
Alright.
First of all, it's burnt bronze, which is
It is
epic
burnt bronze, sand coated. This gun is.
Step over here. Let's switch sides.
Yeah, let's just switch sides. That makes it easy. This gun is the first AK that I ever bought. It was actually the first firearm that I ever purchased, and I can't get rid of it. It's been rebuilt over and over again, and it's been rebarreled once, and I've modified it over and over and over again. This configuration is a little different than this gun. Actually made an appearance at SHOT Show last year as well. Yeah. And I'm gonna rebuild it again, and it'll be at SHOT Show in 2014 as well. Cool. With new products on it and some different stuff, but
so. What are the features of this gun that you think sort of embody what you're about, a Snake Hound Machine?
Well, the biggest thing is ergonomically, it has a buttstock that is close in line to the axis of the bore and on the same angle as the bore, so it's not steeply angled down like a traditional stock, and then that gives it better ergonomics, better custom, you can fit it to your body better. And then M4 sights and a flat top. There's not a lot of flat top AKs out there, and I really think at this point it's kind of essential.
Do you get a like height over bore issue with those? Being like any taller than a stock?
Absolutely, absolutely. Within 25 meters you have a height over bore issue. Like any other gun. And so this one's a little bit different from the height over bore with an AR, which is less, but other than that, it doesn't really matter. And at 25 meters, I think, you know, are you going to squib over an inch and a half difference, like inside 25 meters? I don't think it really matters. Really, a lot of people on the internet love to complain about that, but it's more of a training issue than anything. Oh, your bullet's going to be 2 inches lower. Whatever.
That's kind of the difference between here and here.
Plus, if you practice, it just comes right out. It's a training issue, really, more than anything else.
Yeah. I've developed the motto.
People love to
you know, if somebody's on the internet complaining about something, that's time that they should be spending shooting.
It's so true. So yeah, I mean, it's a little different than a stock AK, but as far as height over bore, but it's negligible. I mean, I put a 25 meter battle sight on it, and then it shoots just like normal. It doesn't really matter at that point. So, but yeah, basically everything about this gun's been changed out. But it's pretty much a typical Snake Hound gun. The Samson free float rail's pretty nice. It's got a lot of meat to purchase. Have big hands.
What's the ultimate goal of this? What do you optimize these for? You know, like. Is it per customer, or is there like a specific design philosophy that you're working with?
Well, everything I do is I want it to be made for hard use. I want it to be a battle rifle, and I want it to work at its optimum function. Excuse me. I want it to work at its optimum efficiency inside the theater it's designed for. Where if there's 7.62 by 39 rounds, which is what I prefer, it's inside 200 meters. Inside 200 meters, the AK is king. And I want these to be a fighting rifle that's set up for that, yeah. and works as best as possible and improves the interface between man and machine. So, like, people ask me, like, oh, you do a left side charging handle and like all this other crap, and I'm like, no, I don't really do that. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
There are other companies that do that. You can go talk to them. That's cool. I don't like changing the position of controls because then all of a sudden now you're using a unicorn that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So you change the position of the controls. Now you're training yourself to use a gun that it only works on that gun.
Yeah.
And as soon as if you pick up another gun that is, like if I pick up any other AK, controls are in the exact same spots. My controls are better. Like I have the oversized bolt knob and this Krebs safety and nice trigger and a better grip and all this other stuff, but all my controls and functionality, all my muscle memory is the same. It's easier to do on this platform, but it's 100% the same as every other AK out there.
Yeah.
So
what I really like about them and what attracts me to these AKs is that they look like they're updated enough that they can interface with all the sort of other technological improvements that have been made in the past 20 years, but without looking like they've been like cobbled together out of like the sort of like, you know, price sort low to high selection from, you know, cheaper than dirt or something. You know, because you see a lot of those, and it's got like some huge rails and these like ridiculous rail covers, and it's got every little bell and whistle that you could possibly buy for less than $60 that have been crammed onto it. But these, you know, what attracts me to these is that they're obviously well built and purpose built and built with a certain amount of, you know, I think they're stylish and conservative at the same time.
Yeah, well, when it comes to selection for parts, like parts that we don't make, I run everything. Like everything goes through extensive, like several thousand rounds of evaluating and testing before we decide to put it on a customer gun. Because if I send something out, my reputation's on it. You know, I don't want to send anything out that will break or is crappy or is just lower quality. So everything, before we use parts that we give to other people, we use them ourselves and try to break them, try to beat them up and everything. And if it doesn't work, we're not going to do it.
Yeah, part of running a small business where your own individual name goes on something means that sometimes, even though you may eventually lose a sale at the end of it, you have to stand firm and be prepared to talk a customer out of something that you either have really strong doubts over or know for sure will not work. They might have talked themselves into it pretty heartily, but you can't be afraid to assert a little bit of expertise and just get down to business and say, look, you know, I hear the idea that you're giving me. I sort of have an idea of like what you're trying to accomplish.
We don't do that, and this is why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, you know, trust that we've been doing this for a little while, and let us make it the way we would make it to fit this purpose you describe. And if you don't like it, we'll do something different. But like honestly, just give it a shot the way we're thinking about it, and you'll be happy with it. And that's why you go to somebody like Owen instead of doing it yourself.
And I've been a lot of names thrown at me too. Like people have said that I'm an elitist. I had one guy write me a hate mail, said I was a supremist, which I hope is a level higher than elitist, because that means I leveled up.
But if I get enough points, can I be a supreme elitist?
Supreme elitist. We're yes, that's a way to look at it. A little bit elitist. There's parts I don't like to use because I don't think they're quality, and there's some things that I don't want to do. But at the same time,
you know, quality-minded from elitism.
Right. The other thing is that it's not just being elitist; it's being principled. At the end of the day, I'm making a gun that has my name on it forever, that carries my reputation, and I can only make stuff that I believe in. I can't. I'm not gonna half-ass a bunch of stuff and throw it out there to make quick bucks.
Yeah. And nobody wants to hear you know, 10 years from now, neither of us want to hear a story like, oh yeah, I got one of those early such and such models and it had problems, but he figured it out eventually. But you know, by the time he figured out how to do it right, you know, I was put off and I went with this other brand. Like none of us want to hear that story creep back around.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't want to I don't want to reduce my principles for the sake of convenience or price or ease. Like I don't want to make things easier or make a bigger profit margin and have an inferior product. At the end of the day, when everything else is taken away, your principles, your character, your values are the only things you have left.
That's it.
And that's something I'm not going to skimp on.
So, since this is for the Philly EDC channel, we can't leave, obviously, without teaching you guys something. We are really big on DIY, learning everything cool that you could possibly want to do. And one of the reasons we came up here is because I've got this SGL 31, and it's got that Arsenal 2-stage, trigger in it, which is gritty, and I just straight up don't like it.
Horrible.
So Owen is going to work his magic, and we're going to turn this thing into a beast machine.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right, so what do we have here, Owen?
We have a Tapco G2 trigger group, and we have the hammer spring from our American spring kits. It's an overpowered American-made wound spring, and you can see that it's a lot different from the stock coiled wire spring that's in the AK.
Okay, so as the customer, I'm trusting the expert on their part selection. Tell us why you like this.
The Tapco G2 is one, inexpensive, and two, reliable. It's a good trigger group. We're going to clean it up a little bit, make it a little better, but it's a great place to start. You can get them anywhere. They're readily available, and they're very inexpensive.
Excellent. Let's get started.
All right.
So what's in the kit?
So in the trigger kit, you have the slave pin that helps you install it. There's your disconnect and your actual trigger, and what we're going to do is we're going to clean up all the contact surfaces with a hand file and make them smoother and neater, and then we're going to redimension the hammer so that way that'll shorten your reset and clean up your trigger pull as well.
Excellent. I hear people on the internet talk about single hook triggers and 2 hook triggers. What's the difference, and does it matter?
Is it a semi-automatic gun? If it's a semi-automatic gun, there's no difference, and it does not matter. Single hook triggers are simpler to use, simpler to work on. The double hooks are slightly more redundant and already nearly infallible system.
Cool.
Don't overcomplicate things.
Never.
So I'm gonna grab my glasses, and we're gonna go over here to the grinder.
Grind.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grind the face of this. We'll see it's rounded out to the lip here. We're just gonna grind the face right here and take a few thousandths off of it uniformly across the back. If you take too much, then your gun's not gonna work. But if you take off a little bit, and it'll shorten and crisp up your reset.
Awesome.
So that's what we're gonna do right now. There you go.
Here, let me get that in there.
I don't know, can you see? There we go.
That looks pretty slick, dude.
So I'm gonna take a flat needle file, just a little finishing file, and I'm just going to smooth out the flat surfaces that make contact in the trigger group. You can see how when it's cast that it comes out all irregular and everything. Then we make this gives us a flat, smooth surface where the metal touches metal. So it'll smooth out your trigger pull and make it feel a whole lot better.
Oh, look at
that. We do the same thing on these hooks. Where because this hook right here and this hook right here come in contact with that hammer. So we're just going to smooth them out a little bit where they don't take off too much. And then you start getting into tricky business.
You can always take off more, and you can never put it back.
Alright, let's strip this down. Good AKs are always dirty.
I never clean it. Say that again.
This is what we like to call the rat trap. You have to be careful because all these springs are wound at under tension. So if they slip off of the hammer, then it'll spring open and probably bite you and make you bleed.
So be careful.
Set that right there. Yeah, the easy way to fix that would be to wrap a twist tie around it so it doesn't come off.
Okay, so how'd you get all this stuff out of here?
Well, in this case, there was a shepherd's crook retaining wire that was wrapped around the trigger detent springs for these. There's a little notch there.
Is that going to be in every AK?
Not every AK. Some use plates. Some use there are multiple configurations of wires. Some use retaining plates as well. And in this case, because we have a retaining plate that we're going to use, I just ripped the wire straight out. A lot of them are retained by the safety. The safety holds the retaining wire or plate in place. And so when you pull the safety out, then now you can remove the retaining plate and then remove the rest of the pieces, knock the axis pins out and pull out trigger bits. There are a lot of videos already on YouTube that show you how to change out a trigger group, so that's not too hard. These are our old trigger bits. We're just going to toss these directly into the garbage. But we saved this right here. This is your disconnect spring, and so here's your disconnect. Goes right in there, and then that fits into a little cup on the trigger itself. So we're just going to put it in there like that, and then because it's a Tapco, we have this this pin right here. We'll put this through here.
If any of you guys have already done your trigger jobs on your M&Ps, like with a kit from Apex, you'll know that it also, you'll be familiar with these.
Slave pins everywhere.
Slave pins. Slave pins are really handy.
Yep. So, pop you through. Split the difference. So, now we have all this assembled, and that will just drop right in, and then we'll put the pin through to retain it. So, first though, we're going to take our new hammer spring, and let's look at the difference here. Your old hammer spring is this braided wire junk, and this is a chrome silicone spring that's precision wound, and it's a little heavier. What it does is, one, it's going to have less chance of light primer strikes. You're also going to have a little bit of recoil reduce because it takes more energy out of the bolt carrier to strip out the or to shove the hammer back down. And then it's just a little easier to deal with. It's a little nicer. It looks like just a big AR-15 hammer spring instead of the braided wire stuff that they originally come with. So, easy way to wind this up. We know that the hooks go down inside the gun. These little bits right here go down inside the gun, and the hammer comes up to hit like that. So we just arrange them like that. Pop this in there, and wrap it all the way around. I'm going to put it down here. Wrap it around like this.
Under tension.
Then hang the hooks on the hammer. And there you go.
Pretty slick.
So, yeah, you can look at those side by side. There's a big difference.
Excellent.
So, we'll take this, just gonna set it in here, we'll line it up, and we'll grab our axis pin, and thread it through. We'll take our new trigger group, just place it in there, and find our other axis pin.
It's on your screwdriver right there.
Oh, it's on the side. And I'll thread that through. It's a lot easier because we have that pin holding the trigger group together. Pop it through all the way. Now you can see in here, these grooves on the axis pins is what's going to hold them in place. Because we're going to put a plate in here that pins these axis pins in place. So, find one of those. I don't know which one's going to work in the receiver, to be honest. So,
well, we'll figure it out.
So there's a groove on the front and the rear pin. This fits into the groove on the hammer pin, and then it comes down over the trigger pin, and then it'll get held in place by the safety. There we go. Yep, it's going to line up just fine. So now, there we go. Safety's in place. The safety goes through the hole and then into the receiver. And this plate is holding the access pins from being able to slide out.
Gotcha.
And we'll just release the rat trap here, put the hammer spring back down onto the trigger group, like that, and that's it. We'll see. Now you can see where all those parts that we polished before are all the pieces that make contact in the trigger group. And by pulling off the back end of the hammer, we've shortened the reset.
Slick.
Yep, that's how you do it. I do this in all my guns. I've been doing it a long time, so I'm kind of got it down to an art form. I just kind of freewheel it, but...
Any advice for somebody who's doing this for the first time?
Yeah, get 2 trigger groups. If you're gonna do one gun, the best way to make sure you don't have any problems, buy 2 Tabco G2s. They're usually about $35 a piece, so just buy 2 of them. It's still cheaper than an expensive trigger. Buy 2 Tabcos, do one. If you take too much off of the hammer, then you have another hammer. The other thing is look at your hammer when you take it off. We could have, if we wanted to, reuse this hammer as well. So, if you're going to reuse your hammer, try that out first, and you know, that way you have practice room, you have spares, and you know, don't take off too much. You can try it out, and then you know, it's very, very easy to take off too much, so you're not really going to know until you've already done it.
Yeah.
So it just helps to have a spare. So if you go just a little bit too far, then you can take another one and not do quite as much, and you'll be perfect. So
always
it's one of those
extra
things you kind of go by feel, but having a spare hammer will save you, because I've destroyed a whole bunch of hammers that way already. So.
Wow. So the uptake is reduced, the brake is cleaner and lighter, and the reset is a lot better. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more. That's everything I wanted to change.
Trim down the reset, smooth everything out. The hammer, the pounds of the hammer spring is higher, but everything is polished smooth and cleaned up, so it's crisp, short, and sweet.
I can't wait to get to the range and shoot this thing.
It's gonna be awesome.
Let's go.
All right.
Thanks
Do
again,
this.
man.
No problem.
Slowly like pull the trigger, bro.
That's a lot faster than it was before. You want to shoot it?
It's quick. It is quick, isn't it? As soon as I said that, it jammed.
Shoot her down. Burn it up. It's good.
Burn it up, dude. I love what you did to this AK, man. It was already smooth and easy to shoot, and
Need a little love.
everything you did made it better. I've been shooting it so much today, I'm burning myself.
It's good.
Thanks for having us up here in a free state,
Hey,
man.
Thanks for coming out. Always welcome. I love having people up here in New Hampshire to shoot.
Fantastic. This place is
I'm glad we
great.
can fix it up and learn some stuff, and can't wait to do it again.
Me neither. By the way, how do you like that, motherfucker?
I love this thing. This thing is awesome. Do my tactical smoking.
Yep.
Pull cigarette out.
Pretty slick.
And crush proof too. So
Yep.
when I'm rolling around in the dirt, I'm not gonna smash my smokes now.
No, that's always a disappointment.
Thanks again, man.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to check out Snake Hound Machine on Facebook, online, on Instagram, and everywhere else in the world. What am I holding here, Owen?
That is my personal Glock 22 converted to 9mm.
Ah.
It's been the test bed for our Snake Hound standard Glock package.
What do you want to tell us about the Snake Hound standard Glock package?
Well, we for the standard Glock package, what we do is we change it with a Zeb Fulcrum stainless steel trigger and trigger bar, pre-adjusted to remove all of the uptake, over travel, and we put a 3.5 pound connector. We minorly resurface the steer engagement on the striker, and then we replace the sights with fiber optic front sight, and then in the package we have a IC training claw rear sight by Rob Pincus. So all those things together enhance the interface between the user and the gun to help you be a better shooter. We want an easier, better to use trigger that doesn't impact safety or reliability, yet enhances everything about how you interact with the gun.
Pretty slick.
Thanks.
So this is the Glock 19 version of the Snake Hound package. I think I'll prefer to shoot this one. The grip force adapters on my Glock tend to be a little large in my hand, so I'm going to give this guy a shot, put some rounds in range, see what we get. Better. I like that trigger. It's pretty slick. Hey, man. What's this guy?
I don't know exactly what it is, but he made it.
Oh, this is the Snake Hound actual.
Ah!
It's Frankenstein.
Whoops. It's definitely quick. I had an elk sound in it too, so. It's getting kind of hot. Alright, I'll load it. Yeah, I have a tendency of doing that.
This is the least recoil I've ever felt on an AK-47.
Hey, do we want to go?
It's very nice.
Put some targets on. I'm good with that.
They're filming that. Yeah, I know. We destroy that target and stand.
I don't know why you bring that with
stands.
15 years old.
I haven't had a lot of really fantastic experiences with AK-47s.
I brought paper.
They tend to be, you know, just based on
Yeah,
me
target.
personally, my build and everything.
There's the Glock, man.
There's just a little more recoil than I really like to shoot a lot. Honestly, you can call me a pussy if you want, but that's the truth. They tend to weigh a little bit more than I like to shoot. That's why I go with the 74. Because I don't think that the caliber makes a huge difference in terms of what I'm doing. But this has basically no recoil. This F&A compensator.
Everybody, go forward.
Yeah.
My shirt, man.
This F&A
Clear?
compensator is
Clear.
fantastic.
Yep, clear.
The stock that he puts on it really in a level way. I found it really do a lot. 40 one of the most smoothest AK-47 shot. What's this puppy?
This is the Patriot. We built this from the ground up to be short, light, and really, really fast. It's a demo gun, exhibition gun, whatever. Nickel Teflon bolt carrier group. We overpowered springs, heavy buffer, a little bit of custom work on the pistol gas system. But this is the showstopper right here. This is the prototype SHM Loudener concussion-enhancing muzzle device.
That sounds pretty belligerent.
It's insane. This gun right here will shoot 5.56, and it sounds like a 50 cal, and it's mostly concussion shock rifles. The other thing is that normally you have a 45-degree cone of blast. This separates it out to 3 distinct patterns that one goes out to each side and then out the front. So anything within 180 degrees of the muzzle thinks it's getting shot at. So it's designed to be a force multiplier. We're actually going to have some of these tuned up for 240 Bravos. They're going to an ODA detachment for actual real use. So they're coming out very soon, next couple months, working with Ares Armor. And we'll bring these to market, and they'll be available for about $100. So we're very excited about that. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, let's load it up and shoot it. You want to shoot it?
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty obnoxious. That's much more obnoxious than I thought. That's probably the most belligerent, ignorant, fuck you, just unnecessarily terrible.
Here, to get the full effect, I want you to hold the camera, and really your buddy here shoot it. You need to be beside this thing instead of behind it. Get right up there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep, go.
Oh, that's pretty foul. Oh my god. What this does not convey is the sensation of getting kicked or punched in the face, like deep inside your sinus and skull. I feel like my teeth are loose after having stood next to this thing. I'm pretty sure that I feel like my chest is tight.
That is an asshole gun.
Yeah, that's the most asshole thing that anybody's ever put on a
For
gun.
the range, it is the most obnoxious,
Dude,
most asshole you could get.
This is how you
when I
walk
get
in
my-
and make enemies.